Okay, so welcome to week 3. In this week, we are going to start building our first full-blown app. This app is called the Germ Guide app. In this week, you're going to be doing several things. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to review all of the materials before step 1. So before you even get to step 1, you're going to be doing some reading here. You're going to watch a video, and you're also going to have some things to answer in your checklist, okay, for 1.3, which is linked in the weekly folder. And basically what you're going to find out as you go through this is that you have a client, and the client wants you to make an app. Specifically, this app is going to be to allow people who are working for a nonprofit organization in countries that have been hit with natural disasters to be educated and prepared for communicable diseases, which are diseases that can be easily transferred from person to person. And so obviously, this app is going to require us to put information about these diseases and make it easily accessible so that anybody can use it, because the people that are using it are end users for the app, are actually going to be not doctors or nurses or people with medical experience necessarily. It's just going to be regular people like you and me. So we have to make sure that this is a user-friendly app. And one of the great things about this activity is they have already given us some design requirements. Now, in the real world, this is something that they would probably pay you to do. They would give you they'd kind of just vaguely explain to you what the app was going to have in it and what it needed to do. And then it would be up to you to come up with, okay, well, this is exactly how the app needs to be built, and this is how many screens it will need, and this is how we'll accomplish this and that. Well, they've kind of skipped that step, and they've given that to you. Okay, so we have these design requirements, also known as the design brief. Okay, and it tells us that our app needs to have 4 screens. A home screen that displays 3 buttons: the waterborne diseases screen, the diseases associated with crowding screen, and the vector-borne diseases screen. Okay, those are buttons that will lead to these 3 different screens. And it tells us about the other 3 screens, that they will also have 2 buttons each, one for measles and meningitis and the diseases associated with crowding screen, a button for cholera and ETEC in the waterborne diseases screen, and malaria and dengue fever in the vector-borne diseases screen. Then it tells us what the button should do. There will be back buttons that, when pressed, should change the UI, that's the user interface, to the home screen. When pressed, disease buttons, the measles, meningitis, and cholera buttons, should play an audio clip that describes general information about the corresponding disease. So this is sort of like our Bible, okay? This is how we know if our app is done and ready to go, or if it's not done and ready to go. This tells us exactly what it is that they want it to do. Now, they also gave us something else that is very important as well. They gave us design sketches, okay? Not only are they telling us what they want the app to do and how they want it to be set up, they also are showing us exactly how they want it to look and be formatted. And this is something, again, that in the real world, this would be up to you and your design team to present to them, okay? So you'd have a meeting, they tell you what they want, then you'd come back and you'd be showing them these sketches and making a presentation to get the thumbs up or the thumbs down. But they've given you this, so this is a really big advantage. And you are going to need to refer back to both the design brief and the design sketches quite a bit as you go. And so I would definitely, if I were you, don't forget about these at the top, because it's really easy to there's a lot of steps in this one. It's really easy to get lost in the steps and forget to refer back to the design brief and the design sketches, but those are important, okay? The other thing we need to do is, after you get through all of these materials, okay, remember, you need to read all of these things. You have vocab terms in the orange that you'll be filling in your coding journal, and you'll be answering questions as well in your checklist. Once you get to step 1, you are going to go ahead and download the A13 Germ Guide source file, okay? And you're going to deploy it the exact same way that you deployed the mystery app in 1.1, Okay. And so you need to make sure that you just follow these steps. And if you follow the steps, you'll have no problem whatsoever. Now, what you're going to be doing this week in week 3 is you're going to be going through steps 1 through 23. And 1 through 23 is going to basically create the first additional screen, because what you're going to notice as you load this app up is that the home screen is already built for us. But what we're going to be working on then in steps 1 to 23 is the diseases associated with crowding screen. Okay, so it'll be up to you to follow through these steps, answer questions as you go. And once you get to the end of step 23, then your screen should look like this. Okay, and it should you're basically making the user interface. You're setting up the front of the screen, what the user sees. Okay, what the user interacts with. Right now, at this point, it shouldn't work yet, right? Because we won't have done any coding. All we'll have done is a little bit of design. Basically, we're setting up our screen and we're setting up our buttons and our title and everything to look just like it did in the design sketch. Okay, so we'll see, where's our crowding screen? There it is right here, right? It looks familiar. Okay, so that is week 3. You're doing steps 1 through 23. You want to make sure that you update your activity checklist for 1.3 through step 23. You don't need to move forward after that. And then you'll be just submitting that.